Hi, everybody. I am Lydia Middleton. I'm the Executive Director of ASIS, and I am here today with Melissa Ocepek. Melissa is an assistant professor at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, has been a member of ASIS for some time and a very active member. And so we thought she would be a great candidate to do our kickoff member spotlight in video format, which we are debuting in the March Inside ASIS. So welcome, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. I didn't realize it was the first one, but this is very exciting.
It's very exciting, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to hide my video now. Okay, so we're going to launch into a few questions for Melissa. So my first question for you is, we often find that people have a hard time defining or understanding what information science is, particularly people outside of the ASIS membership. So I'm still 8 years into this, trying to refine my elevator speech on what it is. Tell us in a sentence or two how you would define information science.
I think information science is the exploration of how people use information in a wide variety of aspects of their life. Um, I really love that the field is mostly interested in those domain questions rather than sort of holding too strong feelings about methods or theories. We're really a broad, disciplinary space where people are just really interested in how information moves and impacts and changes people.
Great. And so you personally, how did you come to be even aware that information science was a field of study, and what made you choose that as your career path?
So, like a lot of people that end up here, I didn't mean to. I was a sociologist and a political science undergrad, and I went just by happenstance through a friend. I got a job at the academic library where I went to undergrad at Pepperdine University, and I loved working in the library. I loved doing research. I loved sort of understanding all the different systems and things. And so then, when life sort of pointed me in the direction of graduate school, I didn't really want to go to law school or get an MBA, but library school seemed like a interesting potential path. And within like a month of being in the master's program at the University of Texas at Austin, I heard a research talk by one of the faculty at the time, Dr. Diane Bailey, in which she was essentially giving a sociology talk, but was doing it in information science. At the time, she was studying how car companies were offshoring their math to India and how the CAD/CAM drawings, which is a type of technical way that cars and other things are designed in computer systems, were coming back. But because most of the engineers in India didn't have cars, they didn't understand a lot of the nuances of cars. They were just oftentimes just mirroring a car. But if you drive a car, you know there's only one gas tank, not one on each side. And I was just so excited by this research and realizing, oh, technology isn't without, culture, human understanding, norms. And pretty shortly thereafter that, I applied to the PhD program and have sort of been in this field ever since.
That's great. That's great. It's sort of a fascinating context for that, car engineering and information science. How do those things fit together? You never know. Now, you mentioned earlier you think there's some misconceptions about information science. Tell me what you mean by that, and what misconceptions do you see?
Yeah, so I like to think of myself as sort of existing a little on the fringe, maybe, of information science. And so maybe that's why I think a lot about the misconceptions. But I think people feel like it has to be technology, it has to be sort of dry, it has to be technical, it has to be very sort of formal. But the thing that I actually love the most about information science is, as someone that's been in different disciplines, to me, it's the most open, the most free, the most exciting because you really can sort of do anything, explore anything, study anything within the bounds of information science. Because I have not found a part of human life that information isn't incredibly important to. And we probably don't know that much about how people are interacting with information in a lot of those spaces. So I think that the most exciting thing about information science is that, as well as something that people don't often think, is that it is um, a place where all of the best sort of, and I'm sure some bad parts, but a lot of the best parts of academia can thrive because it's important to have a humanities perspective, a social science perspective, and of course, yes, that computational perspective, but it's bringing all of those things together. That's what information science is.
Which is exactly why it's so hard to come up with a quick elevator speech for what is information science. Okay, I feel better about my inability now to do that. Great. Okay, so let's turn a little bit to ASIS. So you've been a member of ASIS for some time. What brought you into the association? What keeps you in ASIS? What do you get out of your membership here that you find rewarding?
So I actually don't entirely remember joining ASIST. I did it when I was a doctoral student, and it was largely because as a doctoral student, I was looking at the people that I liked, their work, where they were presenting, where they were publishing, and ASIST was one of those places. And so I sort of signed up and did a couple of online things. But when I went to my first ASIST annual meeting was when I really learned a lot about the organization, how many great resources there were and great connections I was able to make.
And you've been pretty active in the association. Tell us a little bit about your volunteer roles.
Yes, so from that very first ASIST, I went to the first one was in Copenhagen, was where I went to my first SIG meeting. SIG is one of at the time, it was the largest SIG, I think, in the organization and a very active SIG. And, I like at the first business meeting, I think Gary Burnett was the chair at the time, and he was like somebody who I'd read much of his work. And I went to their workshop and I met Heidi Julian and Rong Tang and all of these other people that I had seen their publications for years. And I think Marcia Bates was there. And so just the fact that at sort of my first conference, I was able to interact with so many of the names that I was reading about and so many of the thinkers I was so interested in. And they were just there and super friendly and warm and welcoming and interested in talking to me, that it just made me want to continue that. And so I became very involved with SIG use. Shortly thereafter, I began as the symposium co-chair, and helped create our symposium one year. And then I was chair-elect, chair, and then past chair. And through that, I was also involved with the SIG cabinet. And I just find it to be such a welcoming space for scholars, especially early career and student scholars, to come and share their ideas and ask interesting questions and have really interesting conversations. Because, at least in my experience, most of the people that are sort of the big deals, the full professors, are interested in how the field is evolving and changing as much as they're interested in their own work.
I absolutely agree with you. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, one final question. Tell us what brings you joy, whether it's professionally or even personally. Just share what gets you up in the morning and gets you going.
So, well, as you can probably tell from what I say, I like dabbling a lot of things. As you see, there's a lot of things around me in my office here. I show dogs, I hang out with my kid and go to the library. But really, the thing that I love most is helping people find what they're excited about. I am lucky enough at this stage in my career to be doing a lot of mentoring of doctoral students, both at the University of Illinois and in other places as well. And just getting to see and share in people's excitement for their topic, excitement for the things that they're passionate about, and hopefully helping to convince a lot of people that there aren't a lot of boundaries in terms of what information science can be. And so whatever their thing is that they're passionate about, or the things that they want to understand better, the things that they want to change in this world, there almost certainly is a place within information science for that.
Fantastic. Now I have to ask, what kind of dogs?
Oh, well, right now I have a Samoyed,
Oh,
which is a very big, very white, fluffy dog.
mhm.
And actually, I can plug because I've been working on with a lot of great ASIS people. Actually, I think that came out of a panel that was at ASIS a few years ago, a multi-species information science book where I'm definitely using my dog experience and
I
knowledge
love that. I love that.
about that.
Well, and speaking of plugging things, I will key off what you just said and mention that we're just relaunching the member match program, which is our mentorship program within ASIS. So if you are able to squeeze out any additional time to be a mentor of an ASIS member at some point, that would be great too.
Yes, I actually did just see that email.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day. I'm glad that I got to know you a little better, and I hope the rest of our members have this opportunity to do the same. And hopefully, we'll see you in Crystal City in November.
I'm working on my submissions, so
Excellent. Okay. Good luck.
bye.
Bye.